went on a reality show with my daughter, and she asked me to remarry on camera. Mom, can you remarry so I can have an Oscar-winning dad? The whole internet agreed. The Oscar winner even agreed, but her biological dad didn't. He barged into the show set. My daughter, stubborn as ever, grabbed the Oscar winner and said, "Meet your wife's new husband and my new dad." I'm an unusual celebrity known for playing villainous supporting roles. People yell at me all the time, because my bad characters are so convincing. My controversial fame stays high. Some even claim I play myself when acting these roles. Recently, there were no scripts for evil supporting roles, so I joined a reality show with my daughter. The crew came to get us, and my daughter yelled at my sleeping form, "Dear lady, the crew's here. Please free the bed from your noble self." Eyes still shut, I mumbled, "No, too high status, need more sleep." Pack mom's stuff. What kind of good person makes their kid pack? Who's the daughter, and who's mom here? She sighed but opened the suitcase quietly. What to pack? Face wash, makeup, clothes. I mumbled, "Whatever you pack, I'll wear." A half hour later, I finally sat up, slowly. First thing I saw, the crew standing beside my bed. The live stream was already rolling. Nina refusing to get up is so real. It's like me before school. Nina's daughter is adorable. What kind of mom makes her kid pack? She doesn't deserve to be a mom. Wow, Nina's daughter is so cute. I almost forgot I came here to hate on Nina. I asked, surprised, how come no one told me we were filming? My daughter, looking annoyed, said, "I did tell you, but you were too attached to the bed to notice." Who's to blame? After getting ready, packing up, I followed her to the crew's car for our first shoot location. In the car, the crew interviewed us. "Nina, what's your daughter's name?" "Call her Dora." The crew hesitated, like the explorer Dora. Rolling her eyes, my daughter said, "Mom thinks everyone loves Dora, so she named me Dora." I ruffled her hair. "Seriously, you gotta trust your mom. No one dislikes Dora." Viewers burst into laughter. The interviewer asked again, "Dora, where's your dad?" Dora, with her baby-faced seriousness, huffed, "Don't talk about him. He makes me mad." When I entered the industry, I announced I was married, but never who to. Over the years, everyone's been curious about my husband's identity. Fans, haters, even industry colleagues. They wonder why my roles, even as villains, are always in hit dramas. But nobody's figured out who my husband is. Fact is, ours was an absent marriage. We had a daughter after he got drunk. He never really looked after her, occasionally visiting home to see her. So I get why Dora reacts that way when asked about him. The show crew got nothing from her. Starry Baby is a new kind of parenting show. Different from usual parent-child stuff. It's more about stars parenting. The director got creative. Besides me and my daughter, the rest are child stars and unmarried celebs with fame. And Oscar winner William joined too. High-profile people like William parenting. Super intriguing, right? The show was hyped even before it aired. When we reached the villa to film, another guest had already arrived. It was William, with a child star the crew invited. Dora, seeing William, dropped her backpack and ran to him. Leaning on the sofa by him, face in her hands, stars in her eyes, "I know you, you're William." William glanced at us and chuckled. "How do you know me?" Just as I tried to stop her, she said, "I want you to be my dad." Too late. This little rascal's been saying at home she wants a new dad, and William was the pick. Perfect for dad and mom roles. I never told her, but William is actually my ex. Never imagined she'd say this to his face. Her words made the live stream go wild. What did I hear? Dora wants William as her dad, right? Dora, do you need your mom's approval to have an Oscar-winning dad? Dora left William speechless. Before he could respond, Dora squeezed his arm, looked at me. "Mom, he's got muscles." My face went bright red. She then touched his stomach and again looked at me. "Mom, he's got abs too." "Not bad, huh? Maybe consider him as my dad." Dora, hands off William. Bet William wasn't expecting his ex's kid to get so handsy. The next moment, he said, "To be your dad, your mom needs to marry me first." What was William hinting at? Before I could react, Dora shouted, "Mom, remarry. I want William as my dad." Sweetie, did you even ask your real dad? Isn't this forcing me to cheat on your dad? How do we survive tonight like this? Plus, have I even divorced your dad yet? She rushed over with determined little steps. "Mom, I'm not joking. Please marry William. Look, he's handsome. Not as good as dad, but you've seen dad for years. Must be bored by now. Why not just get myself a new husband, and get you a new dad? Two birds with one stone, right? Oh my sweet daughter, it's one thing to call him a deadbeat at home, but to do it on camera. Are you out of your mind?" The live stream was going crazy with it. Dora wants a new dad, and since she calls her current one a jerk, I bet he doesn't treat her well. So, who exactly did Nina marry? Does no one really know? I looked at my daughter and told her, he's your father, not a jerk. She puffed up her cheeks in frustration. HMPH, he is a jerk. An incompetent dad, she said, her tiny voice full of grievances. 10 minutes later, the third set of guests arrived. Gloria, a B-list actress with a decent amount of buzz, supposedly backed by some powerful investors. Then there's the child star, Coco, who's 4 years old. All 3 guest teams had arrived, and the show gave a quick intro about them. Live stream shows move fast. After the introductions, the director got things rolling. The guests need to handle all their meals during filming. They have to answer questions to win ingredients. First place gets 20 ingredients, all condiments and snacks. Second place gets 15 ingredients, 7 types of condiments, no snacks. Third place gets 10 ingredients, 5 types of condiments, and no snacks. The show prepared 20 questions. 3 teams buzz in and answer. The first to buzz and answer correctly scores a point. Wrong answers give others a chance to steal. They handed each team a buzzer. Very quickly, the quiz started. All the questions were about cartoons. This was a battlefield for the kids. All 3 competed fiercely. For the final question, in SpongeBob, what's the name of the sperm whale? My daughter's eyes lit up. She was about to hit the buzzer when the little star Cindy beat her to it. But Cindy couldn't remember. She scratched her head and finally said, I think it's Sandy. The next moment, my daughter shouted, Sandy's the squirrel. It's Princess Pearl. She even stood up in her excitement. The room fell silent. Everyone held their laughter. Should I laugh? Nah, hold it in. It's her favorite cartoon, after all. But I couldn't. I was the first to chuckle. Soon, laughter erupted everywhere. Daughter asked, with her tiny fierce voice, what are you all laughing at? The director held back laughter. We're just impressed with Dora coming in first. The director composed himself and announced the results. My daughter got 8 questions right. Coco and Cindy both got 6. The director added an extra question. They ranked my daughter first, Cindy second, Coco third. The rankings also decided room assignments. My daughter and I got the 4th floor, William and Cindy got the 3rd, Gloria and Coco got the 2nd. Next up, we settled into our rooms and then started lunch. My daughter was free to hang with the other kids and shared her snacks downstairs. After I unpacked and took out my recipe book with 100 home-style recipes, ready to find something good, she returned. Mom, ditch the cookbook. Come with me, she said, pulling me to the 3rd floor. I realized she knew I couldn't cook, and had asked William to make extra food for us. I must say, William's cooking was pretty good. Really tasty dishes. Honey, why are you calling him new dad? I asked, confused. Dora, with her big eyes and innocent voice, said, Mom, William agreed to be my dad now. So he's my new dad. Okay. Mom, I found you a new husband who can act and cook. You're welcome. I almost choked. What little girl gets her mom a new husband behind her dad's back? And it's her mom's ex-boyfriend too. This was a first in mother-daughter history. A soft, magnetic laugh broke the moment. I turned to William. You agreed to be Dora's dad? Yeah, something like that. Wait, did you forget you're my ex-boyfriend? The words just slipped out before I could stop them. Didn't forget. That's why being my ex's kid's dad is kind of fun, he replied. I was just quick-tongued, but when I realized it, the live stream went wild. William's actually Nina's ex. I thought he seemed a bit different with her. And now they're saying they dated before. I'm weirdly excited. Then my daughter looked at me and out of nowhere asked, Mom, is there a chance my dad is your ex? I almost coughed up blood. I stood up quickly and blurted, no way. Eat your meal properly. Say something like that again, and I'll take your snacks and TV away. I'm going insane. Just half a day into the live stream, and she's already said so much crazy stuff. Does she not care if her real dad sees this? I sneaked off camera and checked the trending topics on PD's phone. My eyes widened. Nina's daughter gets a new dad during reality show. William is Nina's ex. It was already trending. Her dad can't possibly miss it now. And then, guess what? Her dad actually stormed into the show. After nap time, we went for an outdoor shoot with the show. We did crafts with the kids. The crafts were to be given away to lucky viewers. Upon returning, we saw a man sitting on the living room sofa. He was strikingly handsome, with sharp features, clad in an all-black tailored suit, exuding an air of authority with a chill vibe. That's my daughter's real dad. Jackson. To the outside world, he's a business tycoon worth billions, the mysterious power behind J Group. He looked up, his jet black hair framing striking, narrow eyes. Without saying a word, he became the center of attention. I turned to look at the camera and noticed the live stream had already ended. In the next second, my daughter's tiny voice questioned, "What are you doing here?" Jackson spoke slowly, his voice deep and magnetic. You were about to have my wife remarry. Can't I come? The guests and the staff instantly got it. They started guessing who Dora's dad was. My darling daughter, your dad's here to fix things. You're just in time. Let me introduce you. My daughter, being the bold one, directly took William over to her real dad and said, "This is Mom's new husband, and my new dad." Jackson's gaze darkened. His aura became chilly. "Dora, have I ever hit you since you grew up?" I was taken aback. Jackson rarely called our daughter by her name. He was mad. My daughter got scared and hid in my arms. I quickly picked her up and went upstairs with Jackson. Jackson sat on the couch while our daughter hid behind me, her young face full of fear. "Dora, come over here. You're too mean. I won't go." Seeing how scared she was and with Jackson looking so stern, I said, "Dora's just a kid. She doesn't understand. You're being too harsh. She's afraid." Jackson glanced at me, his tone softening, asking our daughter, "Why do you want a new dad?" "Because you're not a good dad. You only come home a few times a month. You're often away. You don't spend time with me and Mom at all. It seems like you don't love us." Kids have simple minds. She thought since her dad isn't around, he doesn't love her. Jackson paused for a moment and asked, "Don't you have to ask my permission to get my wife a new husband? Can't I surprise you by doing it secretly?" Jackson replied, "The surprise is too big. You better take it back." Our daughter hugged my leg, peeked out, and with her tiny voice asked, "What surprise do you want then?" Jackson beckoned her over, and she walked to him willingly, no longer scared. He picked her up gently, saying, "I've made mistakes. From now on, I'll spend more time with you and Mom and be a good dad. Can Dora give Dad a chance?" Her young face softened a bit. "Will you stay at home with me and Mom?" Jackson nodded. "I will. From now on, I'll live with you and Mom." She turned her head away, a bit sulky. "I'll give you one chance. Don't mess it up, or we'll leave you, and you'll be left listening to breakup songs in bed." Watching them make up, I couldn't help but smile. My daughter didn't really dislike her dad. She just hoped he'd be around more, give her more love. Jackson had a little surprise for her too, bringing her favorite chocolate. "Chocolate, want some?" "Yes, please help me open it." She was delighted, her young face full of smiles. Then there was a knock on the door. I thought it was the show crew. I opened the door to find William. "William, what's up?" He looked a bit complicated and hesitant. "Nina, do you need me to explain?" "Kids are young. Don't hit them." Once I realized, I quickly shook my head. No hitting of Dora." Just then, Jackson came over holding our daughter's hand, and while she ate her chocolate, she said, "William, don't worry. Dad didn't hit me, but you're not going to be my new dad. Sorry." Jackson stayed silent, discreetly wrapping his arm around my waist. William lowered his eyes, looking a bit forlorn. "It's okay then. I won't disturb you guys anymore." After William left, our daughter looked up at Jackson. "Dad, I want to poop. Can you come to the bathroom with me and cheer me on?" Jackson's eyelids twitched. "Daddy doesn't really want to go." "Okay, I just said it randomly." I couldn't help but laugh. This kid was teasing her dad. Jackson looked at me with those deep eyes. "Your ex-boyfriend still has feelings for you, huh?" I was stunned. "No, I don't think so. William was my first love. We dated in college, but it was brief. He was the one who chased after me and confessed. He asked if we could try things out, and I agreed. The breakup reason was simple. I felt he wasn't right for me. Didn't give me that fluttery feeling. Later, I married Jackson, and entered the entertainment industry. I was honest about William being my ex. Then Jackson leaned in closer, his Adam's apple rolling. "But I think he does. His face aligns with my aesthetic perfectly. With him so close, it felt like he was seducing me." My heart skipped a beat, and I swallowed. Even if he has feelings, I can't help that, right? Can you keep some distance from him? Give me a little security. His long drawl felt like a hook, tickling my heart. It was ticklish. Did Jackson really just say that? "I'm adopted, taken in at age 8. They treated me like their real daughter. 5 years ago, my dad had a stroke when the company faced bankruptcy. I sought help, but got ignored. Standing at the hospital window, unable to pay my dad's fees, begging for an extension, but got no support. Then his family, who had always been friendly, said they'd cover it, but only if I married their mentally impaired son. I was desperate, and couldn't watch my dad not get treatment. Then, why not marry me?" said Jackson. "It was the second time I met him. The first was at a birthday party. I found him captivating, and couldn't help but be drawn. He noticed me watching and met my gaze across the distance. Just one glance left me enchanted for a long time. Married life with Jackson was great, very harmonious. He respected my wishes. He was busy with work, traveling a lot, hoping I'd understand. I did. He always brought back gifts for me. Little cakes, treats, flowers, and pretty trinkets. He said he bought them because he thought of me. That night, we had some drinks, and Dora happened. During my pregnancy, he was attentive. Seeing me struggle made him feel sorry for me. Even though I'm the one mostly taking care of the kid, he really loves our daughter. There are many times I've thought about spending my whole life with Jackson, and it feels pretty good. I looked at Jackson and blinked. Jackson, have you been taken over by someone else? This doesn't sound like something you'd say. Jackson's slightly lowered dark eyes seemed to curve a bit, and those eyes appeared extra dark. Can't help it. When my wife and kid are being eyed by others, I tend to feel a bit threatened. I clicked my tongue and teased him, feeling insecure. Why don't you give me some confidence? The next second, Jackson lowered his head, and his lightly red lips met mine. I couldn't help but open my eyes wide, and in that moment, he took all my breath away. I don't know how many seconds passed. When I finally pulled away from that sweet, gentle kiss, a small, innocent voice next to us piped up. The online sisters were right. Lips aren't just for eating, they're for kissing too. My face turned red immediately, but Jackson, unfazed and calm, said, "You're a big girl now. Don't interrupt mommy and daddy again." "Daughter, are you mad at me?" "Jackson, of course not. Do you want to play Legos with me now?" Her sassy little expression was just too cute. Her dad didn't refuse and joined her to play. Jackson ordered a grand dinner for everyone on the show team. No live broadcast tonight. So I just grabbed my phone from the crew and checked trending topics online. The hashtags about William and me had already been taken down. Starry Baby is getting a lot of buzz right now, and our daughter is getting a lot of love online. A lot of her silly, cute moments from the live stream have been clipped together by fans and posted all over. Now, the homepage is filled with posts about her. Jackson didn't leave tonight. He laid on the bed in the silk pajamas brought by assistant Lee. Our daughter snuggled up in his arms. Big and small, they watched cartoons together. When the theme music started, our daughter got so excited and started singing along. But, honestly, she has no musical talent, and her singing was hard to describe. Even Jackson couldn't help but tease. "Others sound like an angel, you sound truly torturous." Her face immediately changed, and she said, very sassy, "How rude are you?" I couldn't help but chuckle. But the next day, during shooting, I couldn't keep that smile. Because of Jackson, they didn't set up cameras in our hotel rooms. The program crew knocked on our door to get us to film the day's content. In the morning, we went to the zoo for a live stream with the crew. But in the afternoon, they said parents and kids had to sing a children's song as a promotional theme for the show. Hearing this terrible news, I was completely stunned. Our daughter's tone deafness comes from me. I'm a musical disaster. People singing usually make money, but my singing might cause someone to lose their mind. Every part of me screamed no, yet our daughter was oddly excited, and insisted on singing that SpongeBob SquarePants theme song. "Dora, can we talk?" "Let's not sing, okay? Let's skip this." Before my daughter could answer, the director chimed in. "This is not a game session, no opting out. Every group has to sing." It felt like the sky was falling. I've been in the industry for years, and besides being bashed for playing villain roles, I've never had any scandal. But I'm sure, after this song, I'll have some major embarrassment. With a look of undeniable reluctance, I got pulled into the recording booth by our daughter. The audience in the live stream got a kick out of my expression. Look at Nina's face. She looks like she's being sent to her doom. Nina's expression is hilarious. Could she actually not know how to sing? The production brought in a professional vocal coach to guide us. But after hearing us sing just once, the coach's expression changed. She wanted to help, but didn't know where to start. When my daughter and I walked out of the booth, the recording staff, sound engineers, and crew members all had faces that were a mix of indescribable, uncomfortable, and painfully complex emotions. My daughter looked up and asked, "Mom, did we sound good? Should we record it again? Please, for your mother's and these people's sake, let it go." "Sweetheart, you sang beautifully, just don't do it again." I caught a glimpse of the live stream screen. Looks like our voices, well, had quite an impact. From now on, anytime singing is mentioned, I won't be able to hold my head up. Luckily, this family variety show is nearing its end. After a small tea party, the team announced the successful completion of the first season of Starry Baby. Guest info for the next season will be announced in a few days. Starry Baby is a mix of live shows and pre-recorded episodes. The live broadcast is over, and the edited version will come soon. Before it's online, our recorded promotional music has hit the web. As expected, my daughter and I's version has gone viral again. The homepage of major platforms is filled with us. Some editing wizards even made meme-style videos and posted them on certain big platforms. After the show ended, our daughter had to start kindergarten. Jackson goes to work during the day and comes home to us at night. On weekends, She refuses to do homework and wants to go out to play. The teachers can't do anything with her. I pretended to be mad and called our daughter, Dora, if you don't listen to your teacher, I'll get angry. And when I'm angry, anything can happen. She blinked her big, bright eyes and tilted her head at me. Really? Really? She instantly ran over to me, her little voice bubbling. Then be a lobster, make a grilled fish, and finally a steak. Did not expect that angle. You little troublemaker. What's up? Jackson walked in at this moment. I looked at him, complaining. Your daughter needs a scolding. I told her to study. She told me to be a lobster. Our daughter put on an innocent face. You're the one who said you could do anything. I just wanted to see if you could. Jackson looked at her, his long eyes landing with a silent authority. Go study. I'll take you to eat lobster tonight. Daughter, okay. Why did she agree so quickly? How come she listens to you? Jackson, maybe she just wants to eat lobster. Alright. I kind of want lobster too. Fine, I'll take you both. In the evening, the three of us went to a well-reviewed restaurant. When we walked in, some diners recognized us and started taking photos with their phones. Jackson is high profile, and his personal info and photos are handled by J Group's top PR team. Anything online about Jackson's name gets deleted instantly. If any system recognizes Jackson's face, it gets automatically erased. Just to be safe, Jackson's assistant still has to manage it with the diners snapping pictures. Our daughter actually ordered lobster, grilled fish, and steak. Her taste matches mine. Both of us love spicy food, but Jackson doesn't like spicy. So he ordered some mild dishes. Our daughter enjoyed her meal so much. We've been eating for a while when my daughter suddenly asks, Mom, if lobsters don't get back home, won't their mom be worried? I was taken aback. You've eaten so much already. Why suddenly think about this? Such a kind question. How do I even answer? Then Jackson calmly says, no, because their whole family is here. Daughter, oh, then I'm relieved. Families should stick together. I often feel out of place with you two being so quirky. Lately, Jackson's been working from home, spending his days in the upstairs study, and our daughter's been more attached to him. Every day after school, the first thing she asks is if her dad's home. One day, after she left for school, I suddenly heard a loud noise coming from the upstairs study. It caught my attention, so I went upstairs, stood at the study door, and hesitantly called out, you okay? I heard a pained, muffled sound inside. My heart sank, and I had a bad feeling. So I grabbed the doorknob and pushed the door open. Next second, my hand was grabbed and yanked hard. I hit the wall, feeling dizzy. Jackson's eyes were bloodshot, veins popping, staring intently at me. He was gripping my shoulders tightly. Jackson, what's wrong? He seemed to be struggling with something, barely getting out the words, Nina, run, run. He released me, and his fist crashed into the nearby bookshelf. I was so scared, trembling all over, eyes wide with shock and fear. In that moment, my mind went blank, unable to react. Jackson's hand was bleeding, dripping onto the floor, but he looked crazy. He slowly turned toward me, with those bloodshot eyes again. Nina, go. He said this, but kept moving toward me, seemingly against his will. Just then, the aides suddenly appeared. Seeing the scene, Lucas, his assistant, shouted, get the suppressant. Once Lucas injected Jackson with a syringe, Jackson closed his eyes and passed out in just seconds. After the chaos, Jackson was taken away by the medical team the aides brought. Their leader was someone I knew, the young but highly accomplished medical professor, Mike, a friend of Jackson's. The assistant, looking tense, politely asked, are you okay? Did the boss hurt you? I was shaken, terrified. It took me a while to find my voice. What's wrong with Jackson? The assistant paused for a few seconds and explained the truth. 6 years ago, when Jackson expanded his business overseas, he upset some people. When the business talks failed, they forcibly injected him with a virus called ZM750. ZM750 is extremely potent. Once injected, it merges into the bloodstream, making a person go crazy, losing their reason and attacking whoever and whatever is in sight. It's the only virus developed by a mad scientist's lab abroad, with no antidote. For years, Jackson has relied on suppressants created by Professor Mike to control outbreaks. The assistant said, now you know why, in the years you've been married, he rarely comes home. He's always afraid of scaring you and your daughter. He really loves you too, and he always tried to finish work and come home while the suppressant was effective. After hearing all this, my heart couldn't calm down. So that's why Jackson would often not come home. Turns out, he's been coping with so much alone. I stayed silent, my throat tight. It felt like my heart was squeezed, clenching into a painful knot. Before I realized it, Tears were streaming down my face. Seeing this, the assistant, a bit flustered, quickly said, "Please don't cry. Professor Mike has developed a cure now, and it's been successfully tested. The boss will be fine. Don't worry." I choked out, "Really?" The assistant nodded, "Really." Before leaving, the assistant told me Jackson would be back in 3 or 4 days. But my heart still felt heavy. When our daughter came home, as usual, she asked, "Is Dad home today?" I adjusted my emotions and gently said, "Dad's sick and went to the hospital." Her little face instantly showed concern. "Dad's sick. I want to go see him." I shook my head. "Dad's got a virus, so we can't visit. He'll be home in a few days. Can Dora and I wait at home for him?" "How many days?" 4 or 5 days, maybe." She nodded. "Okay, then we'll wait at home for him." I ruffled her fuzzy hair. "Dora's such a good girl." These days, I've been worried sick about Jackson, unable to sleep. Images of us over the years flashed through my mind like a TV reel. Standing in front of the civil office, he asked, "Are you sure?" I said, "Even if you don't marry me, I'll help you." Smiling, I asked back, "And you? Are you sure?" "I'm sure, just scared you'll regret it." "How can you know I'll regret it before we're even married?" He'd say, "I often don't come home. Hope you understand." Feigning surprise, I teased, "Wow. A husband not coming home and giving me money. Aren't I lucky?" Then jokingly added, "Can I use your money to hire a male model?" He pinched my waist, voice dangerous, "No way." I also told him, "Jackson, I want to try the entertainment circle." He said, "Sure, if you want to, go ahead. I'll support you. But my ex is there too. Are you still okay with it?" He replied, "Now I'm not." He wrapped his arms around my waist. "You mention your ex to your husband and expect a reaction." Thinking back, when I said I essentially had a dead husband marriage, I realize I was wrong. 3 days passed, and Jackson didn't return. I sat on the sofa, like a loyal pet waiting for its owner. All I could think about was seeing Jackson. I called the assistant, who said Jackson had received the cure shot, was in good health, and told me not to worry too much. On the 4th day, I dozed off on the couch. In my half-asleep state, I felt myself being lifted. I opened my eyes and saw Jackson's breathtaking face. In that moment, I finally felt at ease. I wrapped my arms around his neck and softly said, "Jackson, I missed you." Jackson froze for a second. His lowered eyes seemed to carry a hint of darkness. He sat us on the bed, holding me by the waist. His voice was super alluring. "What did you just say?" I blinked and leaned into his ear, saying, "I said I missed you." Even being married for years, I've never actually told him I missed him like that. I didn't realize how powerful those words could be. The next second, everything spun, and a blush-worthy, heart-racing kiss followed, heating up the room. I responded to him, feeling like there was only him in the world. Leaving the bathroom with Jackson, we bumped into our daughter coming back from school. She looked at me, then at her dad, her little head full of big questions. "Did you both take a bath together?" Here's a hint, your mom and dad refused to discuss this with you. Jackson didn't blush, or seem out of breath, as he looked at her. Back from school already. Our daughter got distracted, answering in her sweet voice, "Yep." Today, a kid at school bragged about his mom having a baby sister for him. I got so jealous. Jackson replied, "Don't be jealous, you'll have one too." Her eyes lit up. "Mom, can you give me a baby sister too?" I was taken aback. "It has to be a sister." Jackson calmly added, "But next time, make sure to knock before you come into mom and dad's room." Our daughter was thrilled. "Okay, I'll remember next time." That evening, William suddenly called. "William, is there something you needed?" Jackson was beside me, stealthily putting it on speaker. "Nina, so George has a show with a role that suits you. Do you have the time to work together?" I was dumbfounded. "What role? Is it the evil supporting role?" William responded, "No, it's the lead." I declined immediately. "Is it an evil lead?" "No." "Then forget it. I prefer playing the evil supporting roles." William sighed. "Why do you only want to play the evil supporting roles? Don't you think those roles have the most potential? Leads are either powerhouses or innocent, but every show needs an unforgettable evil supporting character. It's the steadiest gig, really. And playing a good evil supporting role isn't easy. Each character I've played is unique and strong. That's pretty challenging too." There was a pause from William. When I was about to hang up, he spoke again. "Nina, is he treating you well? On the reality show, I heard Dora say he's not a good dad." Suddenly, the temperature around me felt chilly. Turning, I saw Jackson's eyes filled with cold anger. "My husband treats me great." Dora was just grumpy with her dad and spouting nonsense. "William, thanks for worrying, but I'm truly happy now. I hope you find your other half soon too." "All right, I won't disturb you anymore." After hanging up, I looked at Jackson, who still looked cold. I nudged him, didn't like what I said. He stayed silent. Playing around, I picked up my phone, Should I call him back and say I lied, that my husband treats me terribly? My waist was pinched, and I let out a yelp, collapsing into him. You teasing me? Silent means unhappy. I pouted. What can I do to make you happy? In the next second, I held him close, whispered in his ear, Jackson, I love you. Say that online. I can't. Jackson hugged me tight, clearly saying, Nina, I love you too. But your ex is so annoying. You've got to do something, right? The next day, Instagram. Nina, kisses to my hubby, along with a picture of us hugging and me kissing him. His face wasn't visible, but the internet went wild. Show his face. Nina, my husband's too handsome. Only I get to see him.